Hello learners, welcome to my channel all about education. So in the series of micro teaching videos, I had already told you about what is micro teaching and how is it done, what is micro teaching cycle, and what are the various skills we undertake in micro teaching. So micro teaching is actually a training technique and not a teaching technique. It makes the pupil teacher to learn the art of teaching. The teachers are provided training through training institutions. That means those teachers, those students who undergo teacher training courses in training institutions have to learn micro teaching. And through these micro teachings, they learn various skills. So, micro teaching is a miniaturized teaching, or we can say it's a small scale teaching in which it reduces the complexity of real teaching by practicing one skill at a time. And the class size is of 5 to 10 pupils, and the duration of the lesson is 5 to 10 minutes. So we can say everything is limited, whether it is content, scope, length, or teaching. It is a highly individualized training device. Each trainee has to practice the different skills one by one until the pupil teacher gains mastery over all the skills, and then use the integrated skills in a normal classroom. So whenever we go in a classroom to teach for 30 to 35 minutes, we use various skills, and those skills are practiced under micro teaching. So, in micro teaching, the trainee should follow various steps in a systematic manner. And as we discussed, and you can see my video also on micro teaching, how it is done. So, first of all, we will take one skill at a time. In this video, we are going to study the skill or understand the skill, which is Blackboard skill. In this skill, for this skill, we will prepare a micro lesson, and this micro lesson is prepared by the pupil teacher. After that, the pupil teacher teaches this lesson plan, micro lesson plan in front of the peer group, which is of 5 to 10 people, 5 to 10 students. And then after discussion and feedback, the pupil teacher again replans this micro teaching plan and again reteaches the plan, and then again rediscussion is done and feedback is given. So basically this micro teaching cycle is done in various steps, and in totality it takes around 30 to 35 minutes. So learners, let us move on to the Blackboard skill. I have given you overview of the micro teaching, and you for further details you can see the video. So as you can see, you have the heading teaching skill based simulated lesson plan on Blackboard skill. So here we will study about Blackboard skill, and the subject taken is biology, and a small topic root system is taken. This root system topic is found in class 6 syllabus, and as I had already said that the time interval is 5 to 7 minutes. Now what are the components which you have to keep in mind when you are teaching the skill Blackboard skill or making the lesson plan of Blackboard skill? So the various components are clarity in writing and diagrams. That means whenever you write on Blackboard, the writing should be very clear. It can be read by even the last benchers. The diagrams, if made on Blackboard, should be clear. The shape and size of letters while writing should be clear, should be appropriate, and the sentences should be in straight line. Whatever the main heading or subheading or the definitions or main point are there, they should be underlined. The spelling should be correct. There should not be any grammatical mistakes. Between the two lines or two sentences, the spacing should be equal, as we usually do in computers while typing in MS Word. And then when the pupil teacher is writing on Blackboard while teaching this micro plan, it should be proper. The pupil teacher should not cover the Blackboard while writing. And while writing on the Blackboard, the pupil teacher should not lose the contact with the class. That means the pupil teacher should be in continuous contact with the class while writing on Blackboard. Otherwise, if the contact is broken, the class becomes boring. The teacher is busy in himself or herself, and the students are busy in themselves. It may create indiscipline in the class. So overall, we can say there should be proper use of Blackboard. So while writing on Blackboard, these following points should be kept in mind. So moving on to the next slide, you can see here the actual plan has been written. Now how do we write this plan, or how do the pupil teachers should write? First of all, the heading is written of the skill, then subject and topic and so on. Now as you can see, there are 4 columns: teaching point, pupil teacher activity, student activity and component. Component pertains to the previous slide where we talked about various components. Here we can't write all the components because the space is less, so we will just write the number of that component. For example, here it is written 7 or 3 or 4, so it pertains to the component we have discussed earlier. Now first question, the pupil teacher asks, what part of the plant stays underground? Obviously student will be able to answer that. We have to write that response, that answer has to be written under student activity column. And since you can see the components in the previous slide, the 7th number of component talks about the interaction with the students. That means continuing with the link with the students. So next is the question 2, where the teacher asks about a pot A and a pot B and asks the questions based on these pots, and the students are easily answering the question as you can see. And again there is interaction, so 7 component here has been highlighted. Now question 3, while uprooting plant, which part holds the plant tight with soil? So students are able to answer that they are the roots, and again 7 has been written. Now the main point comes where the teacher will explain the functions of root. What are the main functions of root? The teacher will keep on explaining and writing it on the blackboard. You can see the key points are written on blackboard. So first key point is that the roots help in absorption of water and nutrients which are present in soil. Now you can see I have already written that the numbers indicate components. So again the next function is written that they help in anchoring to the soil. After that the pupil teacher shows roots of glass and coriander and asks. Again the pupil teacher is not breaking the contact with the class. The class is interactive as well as the pupil teacher is writing on the blackboard also when he or she has to mention some key points. Now you can see here the numbers are written 1, 2, 3, 4, 7, 6, 5. That means interaction is there. The pupil teacher is writing on the blackboard the 2 functions of the root. The clarity is maintained. The shape and size of the letters are maintained. The distance between 2 sentences are maintained. The spellings are correct. So almost all the points are there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Now next is what is the difference between the 2 with reference to the roots. So the teacher is asking about the various types of roots. So again the interaction is there, so 7 number is written. Now pupil teacher is writing on the blackboard about the 2 types of roots, that is fibrous roots and tap root. Now all these points are covered, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and 8 also. So what are these points? You have already studied. They pertain to the writing, the clarity, the spelling, the distance, the size of the letters and so on. So all the points are covered here while the pupil teacher is writing on blackboard. So the writing on the blackboard should be very clear for each student sitting in the class. Now the pupil teacher again asks some examples. The students are interacting and then the pupil teacher writes these examples on the board. So all the components are covered in this particular part also. Now you can see whatever the pupil teacher has written is here on the blackboard on a black sheet of paper, and you can see the entries are done, the subject, topic, date, class, time interval. Then you can see the functions of root which we discussed in the plan have been written in short, in concise form, in simple manner, because you cannot write too much matter, too much content on the blackboard. It looks very shabby. It does not look properly formatted. So it should be short, concise and simple. Now again the pupil teacher talked about types of roots, tap root and fibrous root. See, it is written here in very short. The examples are written and very simple diagram has also been made on the board with clarity. So this is the presentation of Blackboard. Now we have studied that how Blackboard skills should be used during the teaching of the complete macro plan, the 30-35 minute plan. So one of the skills is this which we have discussed today in this video. Now last line you can see it is written, the pupil teacher will instruct students to note down the Blackboard work. Whenever you are going to teach the lengthy plans, the macro plans, of 30 to 35 minutes. Then after writing the Blackboard work, you will give the instruction to the students to copy down the Blackboard work. Do not allow the students to write Blackboard work when you are teaching or explaining or writing on the Blackboard. After you have finished the lesson plan teaching, then only allow the students to write down the contents of Blackboard in their text copies. So, learners, I hope you must have understood what is Blackboard skill, Blackboard writing skill, what are the components in that, and how you can prepare a micro plan. In this way, you can prepare the micro plan of different subjects, but yes, you have to emphasize on the Blackboard work. Now you can see this is the observation schedule. This observation schedule is actually made by the pupil teacher, but it is marked and assessed by the peer group who are observing your teaching. It can be your teacher educator, it can be your fellow group member. So here, as the person feels, the feedback is given. If the person feels that clarity in writing and diagrams is very good, then excellent, then 6 is given. If it is very good, then 5 is given, and so on. So we rarely give 0. If there is the correct spelling is there in the all content presented on Blackboard, then 6 is given. So in this way, we can assess how the pupil teacher has taught the Blackboard skill micro plan. So I hope, learner, you must have understood how the Blackboard skill plan is written. And if you have any queries, please post it in my comment box, and you can go into my description box and I will post there the link for the micro teaching video, and also see that so that you have complete clarity regarding the micro teaching. Thank you for watching. Please like, share and subscribe my channel.